Welcome to Anews. I'm Minister Hakan and you're watching Turkey's Diplomacy. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan is set to meet his Egyptian counterpart today for high-level talks on Gaza and regional developments. Tensions are also mounting in South Asia after deadly explosions hit Islamabad and New Delhi just hours apart. We discussed the latest with the political analyst Javed Runara and the Dr. Nurhan Albaya from Istanbul Aydın University today.
Scores of Palestinians, most of them children, waited in long lines with empty pots at a charity kitchen in central Gaza, hoping to be served a simple meal of rice, the only food available that day. In Nusrat refugee camp, families say that they rely entirely on charity kitchens for survival, as unemployment and soaring market prices have made even basic goods unaffordable.
الصواريخ وقفت والطائرات وقفت. لأنه استمر غلاء المعيشة هو أصعب سلاح علينا كون احنا ناس لا عمل أغلب المجتمع عاطل عن عمله نعتمد على التكية والتكية بتوفر لنا كمان مرة اللي هي وجبة واحدة لطول اليوم.
At the kitchen, a man scooped rice into plastic bags as children carried their portions home, their faces showing exhaustion and despair.
نستعمل التكية أكل فيش بديل لها الأسعار غالية في السوق لو الدكية هات لا سمح الله سكرت مش هنقدر نجيب أكل من مكان تاني.
Although aid trucks have entered Gaza since the ceasefire began, local groups say that the flow remains too small to meet overwhelming demand, leaving families hungry even in times of supposed peace.
Well, we're going to discuss what is going on in Gaza at the moment. Now I have Dr. Nurhan Albaya joining us here on Anews once again for the Turkiye Diplomacy. Nurhan, thank you so much for sparing your time and joining us.
Thanks.
Let's talk about Gaza situation. There is a ceasefire, yes, but despite having a ceasefire, we are seeing so many breaking of that ceasefire, so many attacks that is happening, so many people who are dying. What is going on in Gaza at the moment, in your opinion?
What's going on in Gaza now? Breaking and fragile ceasefire for the ceasefire agreement, constant bombing, especially in Khan Yunis area. Israeli military still keeping bombing non-stop, still trying to ban any kind of humanitarian aid access to Gaza. Maximum 200 trucks are entering Gaza per day, most of them commercial goods, not humanitarian aid. So Palestinian people still, they are facing difficulties to get or to find food. Even the food available on the market, it's available in a very small quantity with a very, very high price because of the high demand of Palestinian people. So we all know the economic situation of Palestinian people, Gaza people particularly, they lost everything.
You did.
No job. Everyone is jobless. They lost their homes, they lost their lives, they lost their beloved ones. So from where are they going to get a financial or any income to afford this high prices for? We are talking about very basic needs, food. We are talking about rice, we're talking about flour, we're talking about bread.
Yes, we were actually showing the kitchens that is in the previous VTR that we have seen. On the package, we are seeing people still lining up for a handmade, human-made problem of food. That is that it's not that region is lacking food. It is the fact that that specific region is not allowed to have food.
Exactly. So even those kitchens, which already those kitchens offered by humanitarian organizations or non-governmental organizations, one of them, by the way, Turkish Red Crescent.
Yeah.
So even those people who are working voluntarily in those kitchens, they are facing difficulties. They are facing difficulties even to try to get the raw material to cook inside Gaza, even to find the energy to cook their food. I mean, the gas, for example, to cook the food. So they are facing so many difficulties. This amount of food is not enough to feed everyone. In Gaza, we can see in the video the huge queue, the long queue. People are still waiting in the queue just to take small amount of soap or bread or whatever. Flour is not enough in Gaza.
They said that the aid should be allowed into the place, and then that was a part of the agreement, actually. And now we are seeing this situation. Do you think that anybody is going to react to it? Doesn't it have a humanitarian problem, a humanitarian law problem that is unfolding right now?
We are now in the second month after ceasefire agreement. Nothing happened, actually, despite the fact of, as per the agreement, as per the terms mentioned in the agreement, 400 humanitarian aid trucks should access Gaza.
And what happened?
But what's happening now, something totally different. The actual scenario now is totally different. Maximum 200 trucks, most of them commercial goods. Okay, what about humanitarian aid trucks? What are there? Do you think Gaza people will be able to afford buying commercial goods with this economic circumstances?
They even have regular money that is in their hands because it was bombing and crushing and everything.
They don't have the basic need of human beings, Elif. No. They don't have shelters. They don't have clothes even to protect them from the cold weather. So how they can afford buying things from the market? We are now not in this phase. We are now in a phase of people are suffering. People, they cannot get the minimum need, the basic need of being human being or the basic needs to live. So we need as much as we can to allow trucks, humanitarian aid trucks, to access Gaza Strip. Not commercial goods. They don't have money. They cannot afford it. They are not living in normal city. Now Gaza is not normal city. It's completely destroyed. It's a city that it's not suitable for any human being to live. Lack of missing everything related to living standards.
Yes,
basic level standards.
Yes, of course. And the fact that Gazans were still going back to their home is a really heartbreaking humanitarian moment, that how much they care about their home just for the sake of it being a home to them. It's not because they have high expectations of life. It's not because that they were waiting for people to arrive and just applaud them and give them a home, give them food or something. That was just the land that they were born into.
We have to just highlight something beside this. Even despite everything happening now, Israel is still trying to resist entering any type or kind of foreign forces to help in this phase. For example, we can see clearly the resistance of Israel to give permission to Turkish forces to enter or to help in this very sensitive phase. They are resisting any request or anything related especially to Turkey. in terms of sending forces or sending delegations just to help in this phase. Gaza now needs everything. Everything can cross your mind in terms of humanitarian aid, in terms of support, logistic support, humanitarian support, medical support, everything they need now. Who will collect this huge amount of rubble?
Who will do it?
Who will?
Who is supposed to do it is obvious, but who's going to do it is a question.
It's by the way, it will take so much time. The United Nations Development Program supposed to be responsible, but they cannot do it alone. Impossible. Who will rebuild? Who will reconstruct Gaza? Who will provide Gaza with infrastructure? Because Israel destroyed the whole infrastructure. Everything. Water, gas, pipes, everything. The city is not suitable for human being to live in. So we have to build this city from scratch.
Yes.
Again. Who will do it? Who will do it? United Nations Development Program cannot do it alone. It's the main, as per the peace agreement, UNDP, they are the main responsible organization to do it, but they cannot do it alone.
Yeah.
They need help. Now, again, we are in the phase of exchanging hostages and bodies as well. Now we are in the phase of searching for bodies of Israeli hostages have been killed under this rubble. And they are facing difficulties, by the way, and Israel seeks support only from Egypt. And Egypt sent machines and sent groups to search along with the Israeli team to search for those bodies. Who will do this? Who?
Speaking of Egypt, let's deep delve into that as well, because we are talking about the resolutions, we are talking about what is going on in Gaza. We are in need of wanting the situation to be resolved. And of course, actors like in the Middle East, and actors like Turkey and Egypt is one of them, and Qatar is trying, and Yemen was a part of it for once, and they took off and everything else. So many actors are coming and going, but Turkey and Egypt were stable actors that are trying to resolve this problem, and there is going to be a meeting. So what would you say about its reflection on the Gazan situation or the Egyptian-Turkish relationship in general?
Soon we are about to see the first foreign minister of Egypt, Badr Abdel-Ati, with Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan. They're going to meet very soon to discuss two main points will be on their agendas. Number one, Gaza ceasefire, because Turkey and Egypt were the main two, especially along with Qatar, but Turkey and Egypt were main guarantors and mediators in this ceasefire agreement and peace agreement. So they are responsible even for following up and for the supervision of what's happening in Gaza, and if both sides are still following and they are committed to the terms mentioned in this ceasefire agreement or not. So definitely this will be number one topic on their agenda. Other topic, which is Egypt-Turkey's ties. We can see that Turkey and Egypt, they went through lots of political complications before, and they were able to successfully to fix those complications and to come and to reach to what they are now reached, this strong ties, and they are still trying more and more to develop those ties in so many ways. They now having lots of agreements related to trade, education, economic, and even military, especially in military, they succeeded very much in this field. So those two main points will be on the agenda of Minister Hakan Fidan and Minister Badr Abdul Ati in their upcoming meeting.
How do you think it's going to be for the optics also about this meeting? Because they are going to be, yes, the agenda is quite high, and we are going to be talking about what is going on in Gaza as well as the relationship between the two countries, and they are cooperating, as you have mentioned. So what do you expect from them to come out with? Well, how do you interpret the situation after they have met, after they have done their speeches? What do we expect? What kind of change do we expect from their perspective? Or do you think that it is going to reflect on the rest of the Middle East or perhaps the Western allies about what is going on in Gaza, because the situation is still so dire and the resolution is needed? Do you think that they're going to take concrete steps?
We are expecting their presence, real presence of Turkey and Egypt in Gaza. They're supposed to sending forces, number one, to Gaza, being as main supervisors of the process of humanitarian aid access to Gaza Strip, and especially through Rafah Gate border, especially because we are talking here on Rafah Gate border between Israel and now currently, before it was between Palestine and Egypt, but now Israel is controlling the Palestinian side of Rafah Gate borders. So they're supposed to take serious action, because what's happening now, I live in Rafah Gate border, that Israel is sometimes closing the gate borders and then open it again for a very short time, and then closing it again and then open it back again. So this will not work. Rafah Gate border is supposed to be open, always ready to allow 400 trucks as per the terms mentioned in the peace agreement, to allow 400 humanitarian aid trucks to access and to enter Gaza Strip. So the presence of Turkey and the presence of Egypt inside Gaza is so important, because we cannot see anyone responsible to supervise if the terms are really implemented well or not. Definitely they are not implemented, because still the bombing still continuing. Exactly. And number two, they have to, as they are the main guarantors and mediators in this ceasefire agreement, they supposed to talk seriously with Israel regarding the continuing or continuous bomb in Gaza, especially in Khan Yunis.
Yeah, well,
they have to stop it completely, because this is ceasefire. Why then we are calling it ceasefire?
Ceasefire. It's not a ceasefire.
It's not a ceasefire. It's not peace. So what is it then? So they have to ensure. Exactly. So they have to ensure, as main guarantors, as main mediators, again along with Qatar, definitely you cannot deny this. They have to ensure that this ceasefire agreement is real ceasefire. Those two countries are the only two countries can do this, Elif. No one else.
And if not
Turkey,
sure
if not Egypt, who then?
Yeah.
Who will be able to do it?
How do you think that it is going to, in this important times, how do you think the Ankara-Cairo relationship is going to be affected?
Cairo and Ankara relationship, and especially in the last 3 years, is getting stronger and stronger. But let's highlight this. Starting from what's happening in Gaza in October 7th, to be honest, their relationship got so strong.
Yeah.
Because they collaborated with each other in a closely and continuously. Minister Hakan Fidan was always visiting Cairo to discuss the issue, the genocide in Gaza. Like in every 2-3 months, he was going to Cairo, meeting the Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdul Ati. So after October 7th, their relationship got so close, and very strong. And we saw this, especially in the military field. They had so many, since the genocide in Gaza, since October 7th, they had so many agreements between Cairo and Ankara.
Yeah.
Plus,
Just not about Gaza, though. They were just cooperating with each other.
Exactly, and we saw this very big and huge military practice happened in the Mediterranean Sea 2 months ago, and it was the first one since very long time ago between the Turkish military forces and Egyptian military forces. Even at that time, Israel didn't like this practice, and it was like a threat to Israel. And Netanyahu already said this in one of his speeches, that what this military practice in the Mediterranean Sea between the Egyptian military forces and the Turkish military forces, we didn't like it, and we don't know the reason behind it. And like he put a question mark on it. Why now, especially in this time, and why they are doing this after very long time? We are talking about the two strongest militaries in the region, by the way, Turkish army and Egyptian army. So for him, it was
That's
like
a no-brainer, actually. They should have been doing this for an entire while
So
now.
he was like, and in the Mediterranean Sea, like, why? For him, it was something threatened him so much. So it's very clear, it's very obvious how the relationship between Cairo and Ankara got so close, and it should be, Elif, it should be those two key players in the region, the strongest key players in the region, with the strongest two militaries in the region. They should be so close, and they should continue collaborating in all industries and all fields, not only things related to Gaza or only military field. No, in all fields, they're supposed to be that close to each other.
Obviously, because the relationship should be strong, so the Middle Eastern peace should be strong as well. So that's what they were expecting. And as the Ankara-Cairo relationship goes up, some of the actors, aka Israel and the other ones, are not really happy about it, is it?
Because it's a fear.
Yeah.
It's threatening them.
It is.
We're talking about the major two key players in the region, with the strongest two militaries in the region. Do you know how strong it is when the Turkish army come along with the Egyptian army? Done. So it's something, it's threatening when we talk about Cairo and Ankara together. So that's why it's even threatened Netanyahu. He said this in Knesset. He didn't like it. He didn't like it at all. He didn't like it, and he talked with US related to this matter. Why they are practicing, why they are implementing military practicing in the Mediterranean Sea now.
Why now? Yeah.
Especially during Gaza's genocide. They are preparing what exactly? What's behind this? What's behind this practice? So definitely
he knows what is behind the practice. That is precisely why he is scared.
Exactly. So it's something they are not happy because it's threatening them. They have fear seeing Egypt and Turkey together. The strongest two key players in the region. We all saw the role of Turkey in what's happening, this genocide in Gaza. Again, we also Egypt. What did they do? And what happened in Sharm el-Sheikh, the peace agreement. All parties, they signed the peace agreement, and they chose Sharm el-Sheikh to be the place of signing this agreement. The indirect.
There was a sign also?
Of course, it was a sign.
It was a really diplomatic way of saying that.
The land that gathered.
Now we are together.
Exactly, with the land that gathered everyone under one umbrella. So it was a big sign. Also, we saw both countries, Turkey and Egypt, how they were involved completely in the indirect negotiation between Hamas, the first side or the first party, and Israel, the other party. Again, it was indirect negotiation, not direct. It was separately with each party or with each side separately. So the effort those two countries put together since the genocide in Gaza, since October 7th, was the effort was so huge, and they got along together, they got closer together, and they will still get closer more and more because what's happening in the region, they have the feeling of they are responsible, as they are the two key players in this region. They have the feeling of responsibility. They are responsible to of the stability of this region. And it's not about Gaza, Elif. We have Gaza, we have Syria, we have Lebanon, we have Yemen, we have Iraq.
It's a better region.
They have so many things, not only Gaza. So they should be together. They should show this collaboration. They should show those ties. Otherwise, things will not work. Those two, the biggest, the major key players in the region.
That is quite literally true. Let's see how it is going to unfold now that the foreign ministers are going to meet and then meet again. So that's going to be something that is really going to make Netanyahu stay awake for a while now. We have another issue, though. A devastating suicide bomb attack outside a district court in Islamabad on Tuesday killed 12 people and wounded 27. As authorities scramble to investigate the incidents and determine responsibility amid the rising terror attacks in Pakistan. So let's take a look on that and we'll talk more.
A suicide bomber struck outside the gates of a district court in Islamabad on Tuesday, detonating his explosives next to a police car and killing 12 people and wounding 27, the Pakistani Interior Minister said. The blast, which was heard miles away, came at a time when the area is typically crowded with hundreds of visitors attending hearings. Earlier reports by Pakistani state-run media and two security officials said a car bomb had caused the explosion. The attacker tried to enter the court premises but, failing to do so, targeted a police vehicle, Interior Minister Mohsen Naqvi told reporters. The minister refrained from blaming any militant group but added that authorities are looking into all aspects of the attack. Naqvi said police investigators also confirmed the blast was caused by a suicide bomber. No group immediately claimed responsibility for the explosion, but Pakistan has struggled with militant attacks across the country and a resurgent Pakistani Taliban. According to media reports, the casualties were mostly passers-by or those who had arrived for court appointments. Islamabad police did not immediately issue statements about the attack but said they were still investigating.
So this situation is a little bit interesting, and both parties are just keeping on blaming each other, and we are not received a responsibility just yet. So joining us live from Islamabad is the journalist Javed Rana. Javed, thank you so much for sparing your time and joining us here on Anews.
Thank you.
Well, what is going on? We have seen that these suicide attacks, and Javed, they were saying that Pakistan is saying that India is responsible. India is saying that Pakistan is responsible. So can you explain to us what has happened so far? What is about this blast, and who is responsible really?
This is the most difficult question because who is responsible? Because India, we have not heard a formal allegation, but Indian media is blaming Pakistan for the attack inside Delhi. And according to initial reports, it was a kind of a gas attack, cylinder attack. And then later on, the police thought it appropriate and they turned it into a kind of a terrorist attack investigation. In Pakistan, the situation is a little complicated. After this terrorist attack, beyond any doubt, it was a terrorist attack because there was a suicide bomber. And then Pakistan, on the indications are, going by the statements that I have observed, that they are blaming the Afghan government for sheltering the militant organizations, the terrorist groups, but at the same time, they are also trying to establish a network of Afghan government and that of the Indian government in a way that they are behind this terrorist attack. Now, what is going on in Pakistan? That is, let me explain in a broader context. These attacks, more particularly the attack in Islamabad, and also a kind of a gun battle in the bordering region where hundreds of students were there in a school, in a military school, and there was a terrorist attack, gun battle by the terrorists. This looks like that there appears to be some kind of effort to derail the peace process, a very fragile peace process, and which was in shape of the negotiations between Pakistan and Afghanistan, and the Turkey and the Qatar were facilitating these negotiations. And all these incidents, terrorist incidents, have happened at a time when the President Tayyip Erdogan was going to send his defense and foreign ministers along with the head of the intelligence. So this is an indicator, and this is not the first time. We have observed in the past there were similar situations that whenever there was talks between Pakistan with the militant groups through Afghanistan, and sometimes also directly with the militant groups in the past, I think similar efforts were inside Pakistan, that those talks were derailed with a major terrorist attack. So I think that is more important, because it looks like that someone in this region wants a war between Pakistan and Afghanistan. Someone in this region wants a regime change operation inside Afghanistan. What Afghan government is doing with their people, we know it is a gender apartheid in Afghanistan. We know that Afghan government is providing shelter to some of the terrorist group. But that does not mean that there should be a war between two brother Muslim countries. And I think this is a deep concern of the Turkish government. And that is why we have seen that there was almost a kind of a desperation on the part of the Turkey that somehow or the other, these two Muslim countries should not be allowed to go for a war. Because now in Pakistan's, if you look at the Pakistan's media screen, more particularly Pakistan's defense minister, they're all indicating that they are going to carry out attacks inside Afghanistan. Now, Afghanistan, we know its history. They don't have an air force, but they do have expertise in the insurgency, in carrying out suicide bombings. Afghans are partially part of Pakistan society. There is a 27-kilometer long stretch of the border between two countries. On both sides of the border, the same ethnic group. On the both sides of the border, both countries having the same religious sect. So again, this is happening at a time when there's also a peace jirga. Jirga means is a gathering of the tribal elders in Pakistan's bordering province, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. And the provincial government is organizing it. And the provincial government of the jail leader, Imran Khan, is in an open kind of a confrontation with the powerful military, which has been calling shots in Pakistan. And they want to conduct more mega military operations inside Pakistan's bordering region. And that is, there is no appetite for the more military operations because people are simply fed up. And there has been collateral damages there. Tens of thousands of people died in the past. So I think in that broader context, it looks like that the Pakistan, there are efforts in this region that do go for some kind of regime change operation. Reason being, I'm saying it, that if Pakistan carry out attacks inside Afghanistan, if it is a proportionate, which means if genuinely some terrorist hideouts are hit hard, that is a good enough because Pakistan has to respond back. But for that to happen, Pakistan need to have a very genuine intelligence. My understanding is that Pakistan would share those intelligence and some kind of the documentary if they have with the Turkish government, with the Qatar, and letting them know that the situation is reaching to the tipping point. But again, the bigger picture is that will go Pakistan for a disproportionate attack, and will Pakistan have a genuine evidence to do that? But if Pakistan goes beyond that, and if there is a kind of going beyond and destroying Afghan government's military infrastructure, now I think that will be recipe for disaster for the entire region. Reason being is that in Pakistan, generally people don't have support for a war with Afghanistan, that being a Muslim country. But there is a support for a war against India if India attacks on Pakistan, because my understanding is that India would not attack on Pakistan this time around. Reason being is that the last time Pakistan military had beaten them in black and blue, Pakistan really gave them a bloody nose. So they are not going to retaliate. But I think there is a kind of a situation, anything can happen.
Well, yes, anything can happen is the proper way of actually concluding this situation. But do you expect anyone to take responsibility anytime soon? Or do you expect that this one particular stuff to become something that is unsolved and just remains as it is? Do you think that the responsibility, or not responsibility, but someone is going to prove the other party has done it?
Well, the TTP is a Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, a militant group, which has so many factions, maybe over a dozen. Some of the factions are inside Afghanistan, and the Afghan government is neither expelling them, nor it is ready to take any action against them, nor it is ready to create conditions where it does not instruct any terrorist attack in Pakistan. That organization has said that it is not behind this terrorist attack. But there's another group, Jamaat-ul-Ahrar. This is again a faction of TTP, and they are claiming responsibility. They have some problem with Pakistan's judicial system. This is a complete nonsense. This Jamaat-ul-Ahrar is a very dubious group, because in the past they've been making a lot of claims. They also made a claim that they were responsible for a terrorist attack and killing 150 children in a school some 10 years ago. And then some of its leaders were pardoned by the government. And then when the High Court asked not to pardon them to the government, then under very suspicious circumstances, some of these leaders were set free. And then whenever there has been election, except for the last election, this group has been very active. It has been targeting political parties, basically raising the slogan of Islam, that they are not serving Islamic cause, they are the traitors. This is a complete nonsense. These terrorist groups are not pursuing any Islamic agenda. My understanding is that all these terrorist groups, they are somehow the others are playing into the hands of the intelligence networks in this region. Which country has been running them? It's anybody's question. But generally, people in Pakistan's bordering province, they are not willing to accept that these terrorist organizations are pursuing an Islamic agenda. These are the criminal gangs, and they are being used by the intelligence network across the region. Indian intelligence agencies are also active in the past, and they are still active. More particularly in southwestern Balochistan province, but that is not the only actor in this region. So again, there's a bigger picture, and bigger picture is, and that is going to be unfolded in days to come, that if there is a bigger operation by Pakistan inside Afghanistan, and if there is any effort for a regime change operation, and I think that will be the real reason behind the surge of terrorism in Pakistan.
Well, this is the situation that is unfolding at the moment. Thank you so much, Javed, for joining us and sparing your time and answering my questions here on Anews. In addition to all of that, I would really ask you about your opinions, and just really short. We have a short amount of time, but what we have been talking about is an attack that has been going on in Pakistan between India. And do you think that it is going to be resolved, like we have spoken with Javed, or do you think that this situation is going to remain unresolved, as everything in Pakistan and India seems to be for a while now?
It's very complicated since a long time. It's not something new, by the way. They are always, every once in a while, having those attacks, and they just wait for someone to interfere or to be a mediator between them. It works after it worked after involvement of some mediators before for a short time, and then they come back again for attacks, same as what we can see on the screen. But their agenda is very sectarian, very religious, very as he just mentioned, it doesn't make sense, no sense behind their agendas. It's only their agendas are carrying religious and sectarian reasons. So it doesn't make sense at all. It's something supposed to be ended, but still they are so stubborn to reach both parties, to reach on to a common ground between them. They are, by the end of the day, they are neighbors. They are, as he mentioned, two brothers, as he mentioned, Islamic states. So they shouldn't act, especially in this period of time, just for fighting for religious and sectarian purposes. So if it will be resolved or not, I don't think so, because we are seeing this for a very long time. Every once in a while, they are back to attack each others, and they are very successful to find a reason behind attack, and the reason always sectarian and religious reasons. So
everywhere in the world we have a problem, and we have been trying to cover up two of them today.
I hope it will be resolved. I hope.
Hopefully so.
But if they will continue on the same rhythm, I don't think it will be resolved again.
Let's hope for the best.
We hope for the best, definitely.
Nurhan Al-Bayat, thank you so much also for joining us here on Anews. And that brings us to the end of our program. Thanks for joining us. Bye for now.